Hi everyone, it's Ayesha here from God FM, and I for once have some breaking news. Breaking. Really important for you to get this out, okay? I have had problems with internet and all sorts of things recently. And as you know, I'm a targeted individual, so I have lots of problems with internet anyway. But this is breaking. Breaking news. My router has started to display itself as a public Wi-Fi. Seriously. And it does it depending on what, if I'm resetting it, and it just sort of comes on and then it sometimes goes back to the other way, how it normally shows up, and I'll put photos on. But my Apple iPhone is seeing it as a public Wi-Fi, and it's saying high risk, security, watch out, because this is a public Wi-Fi, and it's not safe. And so it's going through all the standard Apple protocol to connect to my own private Wi-Fi. It's not a public Wi-Fi. Not only is it private Wi-Fi, it's for my business, which obviously you've got data which goes through it, which I need to protect. And Birmingham Telecom, who I discussed with you yesterday, who have reduced the bandwidth on my router, on the line coming in to under 20 megabytes per second. Today was 6 megabytes per second. And when it's connected up as a public Wi-Fi, it's showing that there's no internet either. So it's almost as if all routers, because I've gone online to check if this has happened to anyone else, all routers are starting to show up as public Wi-Fis for not just me, but other people as well. People with 3, Virgin, all sorts of different suppliers. EE is another one, a really big one actually. EE, where you've got an EE router and it's showing up as a public Wi-Fi. And as you know, if you're a targeted individual, you'll get 20 Wi-Fi showing in your house, right? The extenders are also proving to be a problem. Wi-Fi extenders are also coming up as public Wi-Fis. Yeah. Now, I also want to bring up another big concern of mine, and that is, if you're a targeted individual, right, this you will want to know, TVs and smart TVs, certainly, and smart Apple TVs, the little boxes that you can attach to a TV, which makes it clever, which is what I have, are also doing odd things now. I mean, really odd. Okay. Not doing updates, not synchronizing to iCloud, just like my phone. Phone won't do updates. Phone won't synchronize to iCloud. And obviously, if you've got bandwidth of 6 megabytes per second, there's absolutely no way you can back up your phone via a computer safely. And if all the Wi-Fis are coming up as public, then our data is at risk. And now we're about to go into digital, right? So this is a concern. Now, I run businesses, and my concern is this. If we're doing, because there's no more exchange for it, we're all on voice over internet protocol, and it's all going to be publicly accessible, and there's not going to be any security. What we're getting is people's phones are automatically connecting up to Wi-Fi's. And there's the throttling of the bandwidth which happens usually on a public Wi-Fi. Right. Did you know that? Oh, yeah. So a device that's attached to that public Wi-Fi is restricted on the bandwidth that can be flowing through that device attached to the public Wi-Fi. Public Wi-Fis are free, and you often don't need a password especially with EE or 3, you don't need a password. And so what I'm finding is that phones now, when I put my EE SIM cards into my phone, go and check the Wi-Fi settings, and it's on auto connect to the EE Wi-Fi, auto connect, and it's auto set to connect to these Wi-Fi settings when you put the SIM card in. All of the data for all of the apps is already on, and Wi-Fi assist is on. Then when you go into the phone settings, phone assist is also on, dial assist, which is also another way of connecting up to the free Wi-Fi. And so I'm actually finding it very hard to connect to a private Wi-Fi without having it connecting up to everything else with standard equipment. Obviously, if you're a really large corporation, you may have better and higher standards on your security. But when you're a small business like mine, and your network provider looks after your router from their office, and this is done to protect your router. I do it because I think, well, this is easier for me because I've got people who are home invading my house and also hacking my phones, and that way I know that the Wi-Fi is looked after by the provider. But now what I found is somebody has definitely adapted the telephone line, and I wouldn't be surprised if the people who are hacking me have imposed this cap as a form of restricting my ability to operate, but also so that it's a public Wi-Fi, because that's what happens with public Wi-Fi. So if you connected a computer to a public Wi-Fi router, it'll be like a secondary router. Do you understand? Because you'd have a gateway between you and the outside world. And then this would also be restricted. So I wanted to bring this to your attention because I think it's breaking news. For anybody who has a phone, for anybody who has a router, for anybody who has an EE SIM card or an O2 SIM card, because it's the same with O2 and it's the same with 3 and it's the same with Vodafone. It's the same with all of them. Auto connect, put in a SIM card, auto connect to the free Wi-Fi's. Got no protection on your devices at all. Because if you know how a networking works, if your phone's connecting to a network, all the other devices on the same network can read what's on your device, right? So basically, this is breaking news, all right? And I want you to please share this. Because it doesn't matter if you're a targeted individual or not. If you're having problems making phone calls, if you're having problems receiving emails, if you're having problems receiving text messages or anything of this nature, it's all connected to the same thing. Because the traffic that goes through voice over internet protocol for text messages and phone calls is now the same as Bluetooth lights and phone calls and internet. Oh, and fire alarms and smart meters and chips as well. You know, little chips that might be in your key fobs and also your batteries. Now, what I've noticed is a common denominator with this, because I spoke to Ofcom about it, is the aerials play up. Aerials don't work, and So you have problems with your radio, you have problems with the TV, you have problems with the internet, you have problems with phone calls and text messages. It's all part of the same thing. Why? Because it's airwaves. All right. I don't know enough about it. But Bluetooth is another big part of this. My phone is trying, my neighbor's phone is always trying to connect up with my phone. Repeatedly. My Wi-Fi also gives me headaches. Really bad. Really bad. I'm really sensitive to this stuff anyway. But I find I don't get so many headaches if I put the Wi-Fi box somewhere far away from where I'm sitting. And these are measures that we shouldn't have to take. I mean, if they can't make Wi-Fi boxes safe, then they shouldn't be making Wi-Fi boxes, right? Okay. I mean, also, phones can connect direct to routers. But you try it. It's hard work. It really is with one of those adapter things. I've tried it myself. But this is breaking news. I have problems getting text messages. I have problems with phone calls. Obviously, it's all linked in with emails, of course, as well. And iCloud. I've got my phone trying to make calls through WhatsApp or through Telegram or through my phoning app that I have for our telephone numbers for my business. But they're not set as default. So I already talked about this as well. So to get phone calls, I've got to actually literally every hour go on my phone and reset the phone to telephone for telephone calls and text messages for text messages, WhatsApp messages for WhatsApp messages, and WhatsApp business for WhatsApp business. You know what I'm saying? All right. And then we've got things like certain apps that want to connect up and release your location and all of those sort of things through photos, Bluetooth, video. And I've already talked about the fact that photos is a separate section of an iPhone, for example, where they've got the, is it EEAF files or something like that, where they make the modifications to your phone through Wireshark on ARM64, which I've already told you about and I have identified and removed. I'm not a cyber expert. I don't claim to be. I just had to really try and figure out what's going on. I've got an Apple TV that, gives me a headache and seems to be able to control other things in my house. So that brings me to, I let my friends use my Apple box and they liked it so much, their TV had broken. And so they had a cheap TV, which wasn't clever. So I let them borrow it, and then they really liked it. So I bought them one. Anyway, as it happens, mine was playing up. So I asked them for it back because they got a clever TV again. But they lost the controller for it. And so now I've got this Apple TV thing without a controller. And I just get such headaches now. I've had to wrap it up in all sorts of tinfoil to stop getting headaches, and it's noticeable. It's not my imagination. I promise you, I'm not suffering from schizophrenia. To the point where I've had to order a new controller and some adapters so that I can plug it into a computer and wipe the damn thing, or hire someone to wipe it, because my bandwidth is 6 megabytes per second, which probably won't be enough to wipe an Apple box which is infected with spyware. So this is the other thing. So if you're watching an Apple TV through Wi-Fi, it's hackable. And your TV is hackable. Especially as everything's auto-connecting to all of these free Wi-Fis. And people's private Wi-Fis are now displaying themselves as public. And from my point of view, this is a real data concern. I think from my point of view, right, I don't really want everyone knowing my business. I'm quite a private person. Um, and I don't want someone controlling my home through smart technology. Because once someone hacks your phone, then they're into everything. And everything's smart in the house now. You know, speakers, everything. So that's why I was talking about this. So the Apple TV, I went to the shop to see one of these second-hand shops, and I said, have you got a sort of spare controller, you can sell me for this TV thing? No, we don't, but we sell the Apple box and diddly-dum. But then I said, oh, what's that? He said, oh, that's a HomePod. I said, oh, a HomePod? Yeah, it's a little speaker, and it controls all the things in your house. I said, oh, really? He said, yeah, and it talks to you. So you can set the volume, and you can put it on a timer, and, it can wake things up for you. And I thought, oh, yes, that would be lovely for a hacker, wouldn't it? Just set up a HomePod connected to all your devices. Guys, really, I just don't think people see the dangers of it all. What if you've got a child with one of these HomePods in their bedroom that's going to be listening to them? Now, the thing is, with a hacker, they can rig it up so they can actually use the microphone and the speaker on any Bluetooth speaker. So I found, anyway. And they transmit a message that you cannot audibly hear, but it affects your frequency and your body structure, your operation, because you're made of liquid, and it's affected by sound. So I can buy a device off TikTok, and I can make a dog stop barking for £3.49, I think it was, from TikTok for this little device. And it's not audible, but the dog frequency, the dog will hear it in its own frequency, and it won't be able to bark. And you've got another one, frequency, you can put it in the garden. It will stop the cats from peeing in the garden, right? You've got another one that will clean the jewelry. And then you've got another one that cooks food. It's called a microwave. And that does it through a light. If you haven't noticed, that's how a microwave works. All right. And with the 5G and the lights, that's how microwaves work too. So you need to know what we're dealing with. And if everybody's phone's connecting up to these microwave lights, auto-connecting, and that Wi-Fi isn't protected, and your phone's auto-connecting, set up a standard, and all the apps are tracking you and also connecting up to all the same network, then you've got to ask questions, right? When I connect to TikTok, it seems to be on its own network. And I've checked this, and TikTok's IP address is a 151, and that's in London. Because my phone was connecting up to TikTok's IP address. So, why? I don't know why, but that's what it was doing. So it is my thinking that when you're actually uploading things, sometimes you're not really connecting up to your own Wi-Fi. Do you know what the difference is between internet and intranet? So intranet is for a group of companies, and they all connect to the same network. And they can be all over the world and country, and they'll all be connected to their own intranet, which is just like internet, but a closed network. So we're on the internet, which is an open network. And what I'm saying is this open network of the World Wide Web isn't safe anymore. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's a really big warning. Because you've got the World Wide Web, and then you've also got the dark web. And the people from the dark web are connected with the people who do trafficking of people and eating of children and drinking of children's blood. And these are intermingling, so it's metaverse, world of the dead, along with normal World Wide Web. Dark web, connected. It's not a closed network anymore. Right? It's not secure anymore. Because all the telephone lines, all of the connections are all connected, and people are auto-connecting. So people, let's imagine that Dave next door likes to browse on the dark web, and he's got a Wi-Fi box. Well, his Wi-Fi box, you're going to be connecting to it, and he's connecting to the dark web. Your data is also going to be fed through the same network, because everything's about auto-connecting. One of the things I've noticed, this is how I know what I'm talking about. When I moved house, I had problems with my telephones and things, and I got some SIM cards for 3. And I noticed that with 3 SIM cards, I got free internet. I thought, that's interesting. Only with 3. But since that's happened, I actually think that it's going to be pretty standard. Your phone has got different sections within it. Auto connecting to networks. So the police can find your phone whether it's connected to the internet or not, because it's connected to that network I'm talking about. Okay. And then you've got the World Wide Web, which you also can't see. And then you've got the dark web. You've got the telephone exchanges, which are not there anymore, and the voice over internet protocol. You've got the Bluetooth, the lights, the Wi-Fi, all of the grid. And I keep seeing grid vans. So it is my opinion that the internet has now joined the internet of bodies. And this is why they've decided to make it in this way. It's not something that people will necessarily notice either, which also makes it even more dangerous, because your phone could be auto-connecting to anything without you even realizing it. And so I think it's dangerous. And so I want to bring it to your attention, because from my point of view, it's put the fear of God inside me. As I'm already being stalked and hacked by stalkers and hackers, I can't really control them spamming my phone with all sorts of viruses and stuff and hacking me, because they can take over any telephone number. And this is the same problem. So phone calls will drop, internet will drop, because like I found that my Wi-Fi wouldn't work unless my data was switched on my phone and things like this for my SIM cards and stuff like this has started to happen to me only very recently. And I don't know if it's just me or whether it's a coincidence. But these are things I'm noticing. And if I'm noticing them, it's probably because I'm taking extra measures of precaution to protect my data because I'm being hacked. But I'm noticing serious security flaws. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is why the guy who runs McAfee died, unalived, because he probably noticed this. Yeah. Norton, for example, has started to identify people's private Wi-Fis as public. Norton. So this is quite a widespread thing, and it's not just a small isolated case, right? That's what I'm talking about. This is breaking news. This is safety, safety, safety. When I spoke to the BBC about the radio transmitters and all of this, they reckoned that the telephone masts interfere with the radios. Not radios, TVs. But I also said, I'm having problems with the radio too. And they said, oh, yes, that's probably connected as well. So radio, any type of frequency, Bluetooth is one of the most dangerous things anybody who had their vaccines, they've got a Bluetooth address and they operate on Bluetooth Internet of Bodies. And your phone is automatically trying to connect with everything Bluetooth. So if you want to hack someone, Bluetooth is the one to use, yeah. You can hack anyone through Bluetooth because it's not secure. There's no security measures on Bluetooth. And then through the Bluetooth, they can get onto the Wi-Fi. So if you've got a speaker and you're connected to your Bluetooth speaker, then that is an open portal into your device, whether you're connected Wi-Fi or 4G or 3G or 5G or whatever else. Right? And then your public Wi-Fi as well. And if you've had your vaccine, you've just made yourself a Internet of Public Bodies. Ding ding. Hello, it's like ringing a bell. Okay, so if anybody is, into their Wi-Fi and internet and all this other stuff, then give me a shout. All right. And yeah, I'm not a cyber expert, and I don't claim to be, but I've noticed these serious security flaws. And if they're affecting me, and I'm quite smart, I'm quite good at this kind of thing, even though I'm not a security or cyber expert, I've had to become quite good at it to protect myself from hackers. So if this can happen to me, it can happen to anyone. And I have noticed many other people having problems. They say, oh, my phone drops all the time and my internet won't work and my phone number stops working, my text messages don't come through. So what I've got is on my phone as well. I put a SIM card in it, take it out. 3 months later, put another SIM card in. And then my phone tells me that the number I've put in is a secondary business SIM. It's an eSIM, but it isn't. It's a physical SIM. And the first SIM that I put in, which was a physical SIM 3 months ago, is my primary number. And I'll put photographs of this as well. All right. So basically, any SIM card you slot into your phone is now deemed a eSIM. And it doesn't matter if you take your SIM card out. You're also connecting up to the network provider's free Wi-Fi. And you've taken out the SIM card, but someone else can access the internal workings of the device and switch on the data and switch off the data for each app and connect remotely to your iCloud or your phone online. How? Well, it doesn't matter if your phone is connected to the internet or not. You're like with an iPhone, you can switch it on and you can go into the settings and you can say, get the details, and it'll say, oh, do you want to log in to this iCloud account with another device? Would you like a passcode? So this is what these people do. Because they're cloning phones, cloning SIM cards, cloning identities, cloning people. This is serious. Sorry, I'm so tired. Serious endangerment of people's lives. And when you're trying to secure everything, and then you've got the purposeful slowing down of your bandwidth, you got to ask questions. Like they really want everybody to go on to this new internet fiber. And fiber is just like 5G. Give you headaches and everything. It's a nightmare. But it's fast. Oh, it's fast. And if you're not a bad person, like, then, you might suffer. Like if you're out to tell the truth and you speak about the truth about what's going on in the world, then the fiber and its network of bodies, internet of bodies, and Bluetooth connections through the vaccinated won't be coming after you. But if you've been telling like the truth, then it's going to come after you. You know what I'm saying? Basically, if you're a bad person, you're okay, sort of thing. Or if you're quiet and you don't stand up for yourself and you just nod and agree and you're asleep, then it's okay because you live in a different world to me. But in my world, this is like it is a bit like the Rocky Horror Picture Show of Chainsaw Massacre Land. And that's what it's about. And it is pretty horrendous when you realize targeted individuals are identified when they call the police as crazy, schizophrenic, and put into mental hospitals, and their organs are taken. They're taking organs from people who aren't even dead. Am I making this up? No, I'm not. There's lots of weird stuff going on. Just keep an eye on everything, everyone. And just share this, please, because I'm worried. All right. I'm always right. Always. All right, so it's Ayesha from God FM. If you want to find me, you can find me on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon, Samsung, Chrome, YouTube, Apple, X, TikTok, as well as Telegram, as God FM News, God FM New, God FM Radio, and God FM Group. You can also email me, admin@godfm.org.uk, and you can WhatsApp me, +44 77735 77788. Today is the 29th of January 2026. And I'm doing this broadcast as a news bulletin. Wake up, please share. We have 3 WhatsApp groups. One for God FM with news and updates for the Bible, broadcasts, daily interaction and encouragement, spiritual messages, etc., and prayer. And then we've also got the targeted individual version, which is just a little bit more encompassing targeting. And then we've also got the Leviticus group, which is all about the laws and the freedoms that come through the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. All right. So, I just want to update you, really. The things I noticed today. I think it's damn serious. I'd appreciate your feedback as well. All right. Have a great day. It's Ayesha from God FM. Take care.